It was a cold, windy night in late October. The trees along the highway swayed like skeletons dancing in the dark, and the sky above was thick with rolling gray clouds. 4 friends, Ethan, Rachel, Tyler, and Samantha, were on a weekend road trip, heading toward the far end of Long Island. Their plan was simple: reach Montauk before midnight, stay in a rented cabin, and spend the weekend away from the noise of the city. But somewhere near Massapequa, the GPS began to act strange. First it froze, then it blinked twice and rerouted them down a narrow road lined with old oak trees. Tyler, who was driving, glanced at the screen and frowned. "That's weird," he muttered. "It says this route is faster." Ethan leaned forward. "This road isn't even on the map." Rachel looked out the window. The houses here were older, most with paint peeling off and windows shut tight. It felt like they were stepping into a different time. Suddenly, a soft hiss came from the radio. Then, without anyone touching it, the volume turned up on its own. A voice crackled through the speakers, low, distant, and almost whispering. Some roads were never meant to be traveled twice, especially not tonight. Everyone went silent. Samantha, sitting in the back seat, glanced behind them. "Guys, I think someone's watching us." They all turned. In the upstairs window of a boarded-up house, barely lit by the car's headlights, stood a pale woman. Her eyes were dark and hollow. She didn't move. She just stared. Before they could say anything, the GPS spoke again. "Turn left onto Ocean Avenue." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. Ocean Avenue? That's in Amityville. Rachel looked at him, confused. "Wait, you mean that Amityville?" He nodded slowly. "The house. The murders. 1974. That Amityville." The air in the car grew colder, as if the name itself had summoned something. Samantha shivered and pulled her jacket tighter. Tyler tried to joke it off. "Come on, guys. It's just a road. Just some town with a spooky name." But as the headlights lit up the faded sign that read, "Welcome to Amityville," none of them were laughing anymore. And the road behind them had already disappeared into darkness. The street was unnaturally quiet, as if the whole town had paused to watch them arrive. The houses stood still under the dim glow of flickering street lamps, their windows like hollow eyes. As the car rolled past each block, Samantha whispered, "This place feels like it's holding its breath." Tyler laughed nervously. "You all are really trying to freak me out tonight." The GPS stayed silent, even though the screen showed a red path guiding them deeper into town. No voice, no updates, just a static line drawing them toward something unseen. Then, without warning, the engine sputtered. The headlights flickered, and the car rolled to a stop, directly in front of a large, Dutch colonial-style house with dark, brown shingles and the infamous quarter-moon windows on the top floor. The sign on the corner read, "Ocean Avenue." Rachel slowly leaned forward. "Is that the house?" Ethan didn't answer. He was staring at the upstairs window. For a moment he thought he saw movement, just a flicker, like a curtain shifting, but there was no wind. No breeze, nothing. Then came the voice, not from the radio, not from a phone, but from inside the car, whispered, cold, and right next to Rachel's ear. "You're not supposed to leave." She jumped and screamed. Tyler spun around, heart pounding. "What happened?" Someone whispered to me," Rachel said, her voice shaking. "A woman. I swear she was right next to me." Ethan grabbed the door handle. "We need help. There was a gas station a few blocks back." "I'll walk." "No way, man," Tyler protested. "We stick together." But Ethan was already out of the car, flashlight in hand, walking down the silent street. Each footstep echoed too loud, like the town itself had gone hollow. He found the gas station just around the corner, but it looked abandoned. Dust covered the windows. The lights were out. Then a bell rang above the door, even though no one had opened it. A man stepped out from behind the station, his face gaunt and pale, eyes hidden behind thick glasses. "You shouldn't be here," he said flatly. "Stay on the road and don't stop." "Not tonight." Ethan took a step back. "What's going on here?" The man didn't answer. He simply pointed east. "Drive, don't look back." Back at the car, the engine suddenly roared to life on its own. The headlights came back on. No one had touched anything. Tyler turned the key just to be sure. It was already turned. Without a word, the group decided to keep moving. East, toward Lindenhurst, away from the house. But as they drove off, Rachel looked back one last time. The upstairs window of the Amityville house was wide open now, and something was watching them from inside. They drove in silence. The only sound came from the tires, rolling over cracked pavement, and the distant hum of insects. Hiding in the shadows, trees loomed on both sides of the road, their twisted branches reaching out like claws. The GPS still offered no signal. No voice, just a red line, endlessly forward. After a few minutes, they passed a small diner. Its neon sign flickered the word open, though the windows were completely dark inside. A few minutes later, they passed it again. "Wait," said Samantha, leaning forward. "Didn't we just drive by that?" Tyler slowed down. "That's not possible. We didn't turn." Ethan looked around. "No, she's right. That billboard. Visit Long Island's best seafood. We saw that already." Rachel pulled out her phone. The time was exactly the same as when they'd seen the diner the first time. Not a minute had passed, but her battery had dropped from 70% to 10, and then her screen changed. Without her touching anything, it opened the camera app, but instead of showing the road ahead, it displayed footage of her and Samantha asleep in the back seat. The video was time-stamped 3 hours ago, but none of them had recorded it. Samantha's phone vibrated. One new voicemail. She checked it. It was from her own number. She hesitated, then pressed play. The message was short, just a whisper. "Come back." "I never left." Her hands trembled. "That's my voice, but I never said that." The road ahead looked the same. No other cars, no turns, just that same diner again. But this time the neon sign was off. They stopped the car, hearts racing. Ethan stepped out, trying to make sense of it. "This isn't a loop. It's something else. We're not moving forward." Tyler popped the hood of the car. Maybe it's engine trouble, maybe. But then they noticed Samantha was gone. The car door was open. Her bag was still there. No sound, no scream. Rachel shouted her name into the trees. "Samantha, Sam!" Only silence answered. Then Rachel's phone lit up again. Another video. This one showed Samantha walking alone into the woods, toward a small shack with a rusted door. The screen cut to black. Then a single frame appeared. A shot of the Amityville house, with Samantha standing at the top window, her face pale, eyes completely black, and a voice behind the camera whispered, "She never left. And neither will you." They had no choice but to go back. Ethan gripped the steering wheel, jaw clenched, while Rachel stared blankly at the road. Tyler sat in the back, silent for the first time in hours. No one argued. No one questioned. The road had made that decision for them. Amityville welcomed them like a wound reopening. The house stood exactly as they left it, quiet, massive, and waiting. The upstairs window was still open, the curtain fluttering gently. No wind, just movement. This time the front door was wide open. They stepped inside. The smell hit them first, mildew, old wood, and something else. Something coppery and sharp. The floorboards creaked beneath their feet like bones bending under pressure. The air was thick, heavy like walking through water. The inside of the house was wrong. Rooms didn't lead where they should. A hallway turned back on itself. A mirror showed reflections that didn't match their movements. A picture frame on the wall displayed different images every time they passed it. Children smiling, the same children screaming, and finally, the children staring directly at the camera with mouths sewn shut. In the living room, they found Samantha's phone on the floor. It was still recording. The screen showed her last moments walking down the hallway, whispering something over and over again. "The house is alive. It remembers." Then the feed cut off. They kept going. In the kitchen, Rachel stopped suddenly. Her eyes widened. "What?" Ethan asked. She pointed. On the far wall, written in something dark and dried, "You've been here before." Then came the voices, not loud, not clear, but everywhere. Rachel heard her mother's voice calling from the basement. "Sweetheart, come here. I've missed you." Tyler began to shake. "That's my dad. That's his voice. He died last year. This isn't real. It's not real." The house whispered to each of them what they feared most. What they lost, what they never told anyone. Secrets that had no business being known. Then Ethan found the diary, tucked behind a loose brick in the fireplace. It was old and fragile, its pages yellowed and stained. The cover read, "Mary DeFeo, age 12. The entries were chilling. She wrote of voices in the walls, of time slipping backward, of waking up in rooms that didn't exist. One sentence was circled over and over again. The house feeds on those who try to leave. It traps them in the road. The only escape is to finish the story it started. Ethan looked up. She knew. She tried to warn people, but no one listened. Just then a loud bang echoed from upstairs. The same upstairs where Samantha had appeared in the video. Rachel grabbed Ethan's arm. "We have to end this, or we're next." Tyler didn't move. He was staring into the mirror, watching himself wave even though he wasn't. And behind his reflection was Samantha. The stairs groaned under their weight as Ethan and Rachel climbed to the second floor. Tyler remained frozen downstairs, transfixed by the mirror that no longer reflected the present. At the top of the stairs, the hallway was longer than it should have been, far longer than the house could contain. The wallpaper peeled like old skin, and the floor was damp with something they didn't want to identify. A door stood open at the end of the hall. They stepped inside. The room was completely empty except for Samantha. She stood in the center, her back turned to them, unmoving. Her long hair covered most of her face. Her arms hung limp at her sides. "Samantha," Rachel whispered. No response. Ethan stepped forward slowly. "We're here. We're going to get you out." Samantha turned her head slightly and smiled, but her eyes were black, voids, endless, hollow. The door slammed shut behind them. The room twisted. The walls pulsed, breathing in and out like lungs. The ceiling stretched upward, disappearing into a black abyss. The floor cracked open, showing glimpses of every room they had walked through, repeating over and over again like echoes in a nightmare. Rachel screamed as the floor gave way beneath her, falling into darkness. Ethan reached for her, but it was too late. She was gone. Now alone, he faced Samantha, or whatever had taken her shape. Then he remembered the diary. He pulled it from his jacket. The final page had appeared blank before. Now words bled onto the paper like ink from a fresh wound. "Speak the name." The house was never just a house. It has a name. Only then will it release you. Ethan whispered it aloud, the name, written in ancient letters at the bottom of the page. The walls shook violently. Samantha let out a scream, not of pain, but rage. The illusion cracked. The room burned white-hot, and the house groaned like it was dying. Then everything went silent. Ethan woke up in the driver's seat of the car, parked in front of a cemetery in Lindenhurst. The sun was rising. Birds chirped. It was morning. He looked around. No one else was there. No Rachel, no Tyler, no Samantha. Just silence. He started the car and drove slowly down the quiet street, confused, broken, but alive. Then the radio turned on by itself. The same frequency from before. The same voice. "The road remembers you." Ethan glanced in the rearview mirror. Rachel was sitting in the back seat. She was smiling.